Coming up on Mountain News this morning, loved ones are remembering the lives of Corporal Nicholas Deariff, who died in the line of duty 20 years ago. And officials are warning parents of allowing too much screen time at a young age.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 5:30 on Monday, April 8th. Now let's check in with meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast this morning.
Olivia, we're looking at an isolated shower or two in the region. We'll show you that on radar coming up. It's a warm morning, though. Temperatures are beginning close to 60 degrees here in Whitesburg. It's right now 55 and a mostly cloudy sky. Hazard, we're at 59 and clouds around, some showers lurking just out to our west. Here's what it looks like temperature-wise. Cool spot, Manchester at 49. Otherwise, so many areas close to 60 degrees. If not at 60, you're in the mid and upper 50s. Here's some of those clouds that have been really streaming into the area overnight, and a couple of showers. Looks like a stray shower or two has popped up just south of Pikeville now, and more showers just to the south of Lexington, north of London, west of Williamsburg, and back towards Monticello. So expect some raindrops this morning. There will be less of them this afternoon. I can't rule out a shower later today, but there won't be a lot of rain today as high temperatures make it on up into the low 70s. Full forecast coming up, Olivia.
All right, Mace, thank you. Today marks 20 years since Corporal Nicholas Deariff died in the line of duty in Iraq. Loved ones visited Deariff's grave in Lexington to remember his life and legacy 2 decades later. Members of Rolling Thunder and the 2nd Brigade Motorcycle Club also made the trip to the Calvary Cemetery in Lexington. Corporal Deariff's family says their goal is to keep his memory alive no matter how long it has been.
They've seen pictures and memorabilia and stuff and heard about Uncle Nick, but none of my grandchildren were born when he was killed. So none of them really got to meet him or know him, and yet he's still been a part of their lives.
Corporal Deariff's wife, Emily, says she tries to honor her late husband in many ways, including running a marathon and climbing a mountain in his honor. Crews in Knox County were monitoring a brush fire over the weekend. The Richland Fire Department says the fire sparked up at least twice on Valentine's Branch Road. These pictures show flames encroaching into the woods. There are no reports of injuries or property damage. The Division of Forestry is also monitoring the area. Saturday, crews in Moorhead responded to a structure fire near Main Street. Roads were shut down between Blair and Main. The Moorhead Fire Department says it happened at a 2-story apartment complex in North Blair Road Saturday night. The complex had 4 units, and fire crews say all were a total loss. That fire has since been contained. No one was injured, but those who lived there have been displaced. April is National TAR Syndrome Awareness Month. It's a rare genetic syndrome affecting less than 1 in every 100,000 people. As WKYT's Samantha Valentino shows us, a local nonprofit is working to raise awareness.
For far too long, TAR syndrome patients have been put on the back burner.
Jalen Ross is the founder of the TAR Syndrome Awareness Movement. TAR syndrome causes low levels of platelets in blood and often the absence of the radius bone in forearms.
But now we're finally getting our voices heard to the public, to the hospitals, to the doctors, and bringing families together from different states.
Here in Lexington, Ross is hosting the 2nd annual TAR Syndrome Awareness Walk.
I feel blessed. I started it, but I'm not the only one involved. Just because you start something doesn't mean that it's all about you. I believe that if you put together your voices, make it about everybody collectively, that change can happen.
Ross says the change they're looking for isn't only more awareness, but also more medical research about TAR syndrome. In the meantime, he wants people with TARs to keep fighting.
Through all the storms of life, keep pushing. Because for me, with short arms, I always say that use what you have and make the best of it. Because if you don't make the best of it, nobody else will.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
You can find a link to support the TAR syndrome awareness movement in this story in the WYMT News app. 1 week after having to leave a church property they thought would be their new home, Help the Homeless is still actively looking for a new spot. The nonprofit organization serving Southern Kentucky's homeless population lost the location after a new owner says the group had no written agreement with the old owner, and now the property is under contract. Kathy Pruitt, a volunteer with Help the Homeless, says they are currently looking at options and are excited for the progress being made.
God has worked with both of the groups. The Help the Homeless, we got put out of our first building, but He's provided us with a building that we are looking at. Really, it's a good building. There's about 4 options that we can go with on finding a home for the homeless. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Pruitt says they are receiving a lot of support from community members who are helping them find a permanent place to stay. As technology continues to evolve and we adapt with it, it's common to see toddlers and even babies getting accustomed to screen time. For educators and pediatricians who have been working for more than a decade, they've seen firsthand how technology evolved and how children changed with it. Dr. Katrina Hood is a pediatrician with the Lexington Clinic. She says when it comes to phones and tablets, there is such thing as too much screen time.
I think we're losing a child's ability, one, to learn how to communicate, and it is also affecting, I believe, their creativity. If you learn all the time that you have to have a screen in order to be entertained and play, that's harmful to when you become a student.
Dr. Hood adds that babies shouldn't have screen time until they are older than 18 months. And after that, she recommends limiting screens to under an hour a day. The Richmond Police Department created a position to transform the way they interact with the community. Suzanne Howell spent 10 years working with the Richmond Police Department and domestic violence survivors before stepping into a new role in the building. Howell says her job ranges from assisting officers with working with victims of crime to helping Richmond's homeless community.
They called me yesterday. There's a family, there's a 3-year-old, a mom and a grandma that are at Waffle House stranded. They've got a lot of luggage and they don't have anywhere to go. So we were able to work with some agencies and find a place for them to stay.
Officials with the Richmond Police Department say adding this role to the department transformed the way they are able to interact with the community. 4 female firefighters became first responders to better address their community's needs in Meade County. One of those needs led them to create She Responds. It's a nonprofit aimed at changing people's perceptions and increasing female representation in the first responder field. She Responds is also their way of raising awareness about specific issues like female first responders having their own dedicated training.
Really enjoyed it when we had a female instructor, specifically with survival and rescue. You know, she would get there and she's like, look, ladies, we don't have the upper body strength that a man has, but we do have strength in our thighs and hips. And she would tell us like how to actually pick someone up. We can save lives by doing that.
The founders hope they can network with other female responders across the state to provide training opportunities and scholarships for aspiring young girls. The Depot Street Market is back in session in Corbin. Even with the cold, folks gathered downtown with local vendors selling items. Corbin Tourism and Convention Commission Executive Director Maggie Mulholland says the unique items being sold bring out the large crowd, adding it is important to celebrate local businesses.
People love the Depot Street Market because it brings out everything from yard sale items to antiques to pop-up, you know, vendors, and it's kind of a great time for the community to gather, but also find a treasure.
The market is on the first Saturday of the month until July. Mulholland says the event has grown since taking a hit during the pandemic. but is happy to see the community support. And still to come, Pat Sajak's final date as the host of Wheel of Fortune has been revealed.
Lots of clouds in the area this morning, some showers to talk about as well. We'll look closer at when the rain moves in and out and your eclipse forecast coming up.